Welcome everyone to the Nebulum Podcast. If you want to be free, if you're tired of living a mundane life, if you want more fulfillment and meaning in the work you do and the life you live, and you don't want to follow this cookie cutter conveyor belt that we're put on in this society, then this podcast is for you because this is about fulfillment. We'll discuss various topics and ideas that will help you lead a life of fulfillment. We'll have guests and we'll draw from our own experiences to give you mindsets, tips, tactics on how to live a fulfilled life. So, I'm Zale.
I'm Grant.
And this is the Nebulum Podcast.
All right, let's get started.
Yeah.
Today's topic is craftsmanship.
Craftsmanship. Yes.
Yes, when I first mentioned this topic to you, you instantly thought of Japan and their culture.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're going to have to bring on someone from Japan to correct all the misconceptions we may portray in the episode.
Yeah.
However, I wanted to talk about this because in my day-to-day job, I find that when I'm not that interested in it,
Mm-hmm.
it's not very fulfilling, it's not very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
However, when I take the mindset of trying to go above and beyond, or trying to immerse myself in the world of what I'm trying to do, I find that it becomes more fulfilling. It becomes more interesting to be interested in a thing, to be engaged with that thing. And you called that craftsmanship, where one goes above and beyond. And I thought it was a topic that we could explore a bit more, see what it has to unfold, what can it teach us, and how can we cultivate that kind of mindset in general, of essentially you get out what you put in. So if you if you really take the time to immerse yourself in something that you're already doing, how can that change your life?
Right.
And I think why this is important is because you can apply this principle when doing anything.
Yeah.
And so it has the potential to impact one's life, whoever you are, wherever you are, to just bring more fulfillment into the things that you're already doing, essentially. But
yeah, I guess when I hear craftsmanship, I think about skills. It's the ability to increase in skill at doing a particular task. I think about repetition. You're kind of doing honestly the same thing over and over often. Whether it's you're building a table, or you're making jewelry, or you're coding, or you're making music, right? You are producing something often over and over. Often the better you get at producing it, the better the outcome of the thing you produce is. Better will have different standards from person to person, or industry to industry, or craft to craft. But these are ideas that I hear when I hear the word craftsmanship. And so it's what differentiates it from just doing work is a level of consistency and commitment to it. And as you say, engagement with it, right? Usually there's something that a craftsman or craftswoman finds inherently fulfilling in the activity itself. And so they do it over and over and over. Even if that fulfillment comes from simply they don't know what else to do or something like that. Because, I mean, there's often lineages of craftsmen, right? Your great-great-great did it, and your parents did it, and you do it. And so it's kind of the life you fall into. That happens in lots of situations. And there's still a level of engagement, even though it's not necessarily that you searched and you found your purpose and this craft is your purpose.
Right.
Just the level of immersion in it creates this energy of flow and engagement.
Right.
So that can be very beneficial to take that level of immersion into a thing if you want to turn it into something more fulfilling.
Right. Yeah. And I want to go along with this and say that we repeat a lot of tasks throughout our life.
True.
Which are not just, just our job or whatever. We do the dishes many times per month.
True.
We eat. We cook. These are all mundane things, and we can treat them as mundane, or if we give it our full attention, sometimes we can be surprised with how fulfilling certain things can be.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes our mind can trick us into being more apathetic towards the things we do. Oh, I have to do this. I have to take out the trash, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for some of these things, when we give them our full attention, we have a chance to be surprised at how interesting we can actually make them.
Yeah.
I do think the repetitive thing is important, because although you don't necessarily need to be repeating everything. A lot of the things we do are repetitive, and I guess part of being a craftsman is knowing this activity well. And the level of engagement piece I think is important, because when we give our 100% attention to whatever craft we're doing right now, maybe it's journaling, that allows us to improve at that thing.
Yeah.
And become more knowledgeable at the thing. If we're just half-assing it, we're not really growing in that thing as much as we could be.
Mm-hmm.
I think of sports, for example. I have been recently taking this mindset of every time I practice, I go 100%. This is where I go. And there are games and there's practice, but you practice more than you play games.
Yeah.
And so enjoying practice and getting the most out of practice is really the bulk of the work.
Yeah.
In terms of when I play football now, I take every practice seriously. Like, I take every mini game that we do in it as a real game, as 100%.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's made my enjoyment of it go up so much.
Yeah.
And my improvement. I feel like I can come away from each practice and feel like at least, if I didn't get better, I learned something that I could get better at.
Mm-hmm.
And that attitude, I think, can be applied across things to improve enjoyment in all different areas of one's life.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to be applying it everywhere, like, eating, doing the dishes, whatever. Maybe not everything, but at least for a few things that you spend a lot of time doing, your job, for example. I think this can improve people's enjoyment of what they're doing already.
Yeah.
You showed me the Garbage Man video, if you want to talk about that. I feel like that's what I'm talking about here, if you wanted to explain it.
Yeah. I sent Grant a video of a garbage collector who was filming himself, collecting his garbage. But the way he was doing it, he was having so much fun with it. The garbage truck was moving. He was hopping off the truck, grabbing the garbage, hopping back on, like doing it in a very athletic and, I don't know what words to describe it, athletic and fun way. And he was making this video, and I think place was wet too, and he was like skating in the water, or hanging onto the truck, like these kinds of things. He was fully engaged in it, making the most of it, making a video out of it to share.
Right.
So there were many ways in which he was using this activity as a way to squeeze some juice out of life, in a sense.
Right. He's making the most of his position.
Yeah.
By making garbage collecting into an Olympic sport, damn near.
And it's like, no matter what you're doing, you can have that level of engagement.
Right.
and you can make it fun. You can do it in a way that is unique to you. You can do it in a way that isn't necessarily the standard way of doing it.
Right.
And that's where you get uniqueness in craftsmanship.
Right. I think the thing is, when you think of garbage collector, no one wants to be a garbage collector. But this guy looks like he wants to be a garbage collector. He's doing it in a way that, in an unconventional way. And so part of this too is maybe allowing ourselves to not be inhibited by our concepts of a thing being boring. Mm-hmm. Having the imagination to give what we're doing a chance to like fully immerse ourselves in it.
Yeah.
Often our minds can inhibit us from actually fully giving ourselves to something.
Yeah.
Out of fear.
Yeah.
Or.
Yeah. I mean,
whatever.
Going back to fulfillment, right? I mean, this person is a garbage collector. People of, let's say, a certain class in society would say that is a very low job, right? For this guy, this is this guy's life. He needs to earn money to support maybe his family or even just himself to eat, right? And so that's a job that he got, and that's his life, and he's making the most of it, and at least in that moment seemed very engaged and very fulfilled, right? And so it's not to say that fulfillment is only available to a certain class or to a certain financially well-off sector of the society. Fulfillment is available to everyone. Everyone has their unique struggles, and the way you engage with the obstacles is the way you can be fulfilled.
Right. And that's I guess where craftsmanship and fulfillment are a very similar path. It's almost like I don't know where the separation is, but I guess what we're trying to emphasize here is that you don't necessarily need to change what you're doing. Maybe just how you're doing it, and that can have ripple effects on your fulfillment in life.
Absolutely. This goes back to some of the flow triggers we've talked about, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can enter flow in any activity you're doing if you understand that there are certain triggers that create a more conducive internal and external environment to flow. And it depends on your unique appetite for these different things, whether you like novelty or you prefer things which are more complex, or there's a complexity to the skill ratio, or I don't remember all the different flow triggers, but this guy is tapping into this. This guy is making it enjoyable, right? He is increasing the difficulty of the activity.
Right.
He is taking a video of it to share it, so this is probably hitting some other external need to share,
right?
Or to have attention or something, right? So these are the ways you can turn any activity into something which feels engaging. And I wanted to touch on something you mentioned about practice, right? Often humans have the tendency to wait for the perfect moment to say, the conditions aren't right, I'll do this later. Or the conditions aren't right, I'll do this when. I'll do this when I'm at a certain level, or I'll do this when it's a real game. Right now, it doesn't matter. When it's a real football match, then I will go 100%. But that's not the way to even get better at the game. Because if you, as a matter of fact, in the game, you're probably doing, it should be that you're practicing more than what you'll encounter in a game. Because you need to be prepared for like pretty much anything that can happen in a game. Not everything that can happen in a game will happen in a game, but you need to practice everything, right? And in a game where you're playing for hour and a half or something and your energy levels are waning and waning and waning, you don't want that to be the time when you're playing at that intensity for the first time. You should be playing at 2 times that intensity so that the actual game is just like another practice. And as a matter of fact, it's less of a practice than your regular practices, right? When you think about basketball players like Kobe Bryant, how he's in the in the gym from like 4 a.m. and he's there all fucking day. Like that's way more intense than one game, right?
Right. Yeah, to talk about practice, I think it's about training. It's about training these things, these skills, to where they're automatic.
Yeah.
So they free you up to be present for that game. And yeah. If, of course, the game has its own challenges.
Yeah.
So then, if it has its own challenges, you better make sure you nail down all of the basic stuff already, so you can address the current challenges, and not have to think about passing technique or something, because that's already automatic.
Sure.
So yeah, you can't just wait to a game to play. And in addition, I mean, if we're going to stay on this topic quickly, you develop connections with teammates during practice. Mm-hmm. You can't just do that during a game.
Right. Absolutely not. Yeah.
So that just makes the repetition even more important. Mm-hmm. And so the practices become as important, if not more important.
Yeah.
And so we need to take those seriously.
Yeah.
I think the point you said about how we wait for the correct moment it's a little bit of it's like a loop that doesn't make sense. Mm. Because if you wait, when you get the opportunity, you're not going to be able to step up to meet the opportunity.
Right.
The ability to step up to meet the opportunity that you get comes from that constant repetitive practice, mm-hmm. again and again. Mm-hmm. But I mean, of course, the practice is repeating, but it doesn't have to be repetitive. If you give your 100% and pay attention, each one is going to be different.
Yeah.
So I guess that's to say that the small things that we do on a daily basis matter way more than we think. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We might think that we're waiting for this big event to happen, but in reality, if you want to be fulfilled, if you want to be able to step up to challenges, you're not waiting for something to happen. Every moment, you're taking the opportunity to do whatever you're doing at a level of engagement that will prepare you for when something happens, you'll be ready.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
I don't know if I made sense, but
it definitely makes sense. You really need to be prepared. I mean, an example is like in singing, right? Usually when you are warming up your voice, you warm up a little past the range. Like you warm up more than the range that you're going to be singing at, so that you're prepared for that range. You know, if you end up riffing and you want to hit a note that's slightly outside of the range that you practiced, you're not prepared for that. And so your voice might crack. Your voice might crack anyway, it's fine. But another example in Muay Thai lessons at Aigzu, the coaches will make us go at 100% intensity. They'll try to make us get angry and intense during certain drills, so that when we're in a match, that's not the first time we can go that hard. You need to be prepared for that, right? And this reminds me of a common definition of the concept of luck. Luck is where opportunity meets preparation. So you can foster more luck in your life by simply being prepared for opportunities.
Totally.
Right? Opportunities happen all the time. The world is by nature chaotic, right? Things happen. You know, you will find yourself in opportunities, but you may not even notice them unless you're prepared for them. The more prepared you are, the more immersed you are in a craft, for example, the more you'll be attuned to noticing things of that craft, right? The more you prepare for certain drills, the more you'll be attuned to noticing the pattern that sets off that chain of neurons firing, which gets you to act out in the way you've done in a certain drill, right? It's just the same for real life. The more you are prepared for things, the more you'll spot patterns, and the more you'll be able to engage with those triggers of the patterns.
Right. So, and we don't prepare for something by waiting for it to happen.
No.
So that's the whole point. You don't wait for an opportunity, you prepare for it.
Yes.
And opportunities are abundant, they're invisible. So we need to, I mean, you don't know when something is going to appear. So if we just prepare by taking what we do seriously, we're allowing ourselves to receive those opportunities.
Yeah.
And just opening ourselves up to new possibilities.
Yeah.
Without even knowing it. And you're having a better time doing what you're already doing. So
absolutely. Yeah.
Why not try it?
Yeah. Yeah. I guess we veered slightly off topic from craftsmanship. But I mean, this is all in the realm of craftsmanship, right? Because this is about getting better at a thing. This is about getting more opportunities, let's say.
This is about getting deeper into a thing.
Deeper into a thing. Right.
But into all what you're already doing. Again, I want to emphasize that like we don't have to make drastic changes in our life to apply this principle. Mm-hmm. We can apply this principle while doing this podcast. While listening to the podcast, you can apply the principle. You can take notes or think about questions you have or just be more engaged, mm-hmm. and you'll get more out of it. Mm-hmm. And that will prepare you for unknown opportunities. Yeah. In some way. I mean, we're not preparing for the future. Again, we're not waiting. Yeah. We're being fully immersed, but I'm just saying that's a side effect. Yeah. Is that opportunities will arise.
Yeah, absolutely. That garbage man probably went viral, probably has more opportunities now.
Right. You know, got millions of views.
Got millions of views. I don't know if anything came out of that, but I don't know what opportunities he was prepared for, but I'm sure certain opportunities came his way from just being that engaged in the thing he's doing.
Right. Sharing. And the engagement itself is already fulfilling enough.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure he could do that and not need to get any of those opportunities. Like, he seems pretty happy when he's doing it. However, all these things come as things that happen when one is engaged. Mm-hmm. You already get the plus of being engaged. So then you get all these bonuses of being fit. I mean, the guy's fucking fit. Yeah. Like, he was sprinting for that garbage.
Yeah.
So you get all these bonuses that really stack up and all like help you just level up.
This actually reminds me of particular parts of Jamaican culture. So we have these buses. We call them coaster buses. They're public transportation, but they're privately owned. It's like a taxi, privately owned taxi, but you need, government approval and stuff, so you need to sign up for the correct license. But it's a whole bus, like a bus of people, right? But these coasters are very unruly, let's say. They they wreak havoc on the streets. But the coasters have a driver and a conductor. So the conductor is responsible for collecting the money from the passengers and, getting passengers onto the bus and stuff like that. They operate in a very similar way to that garbage man. Like, they're hanging off the bus. They're like jumping off while it's still driving, like getting people in, like jumping back on. They're like having fun with it. They're dancing around. They're very like athletic. Like, it's interesting to watch. And I mean, that's just like part of the culture at this point. But that's a way that became a craft. Like, simply collecting money from people, it's not much of a craft.
Right.
But it was made into a craft by this culture around it of being able to hang off the bus and being even somewhat entertaining but honestly, you're just having fun and you're running around. It's just, yeah. So things can be made into a craft.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, making something inherently fulfilling. I think part of something being a craft is it is fulfilling in and of itself. It's not necessarily the fact that you're doing it for some other goal. I mean, there is often a goal tied to it, like you're a fisherman. Let's say you need to catch fish and you need to sell the fish or whatever it may be. But there's a level at which the depth you go into the practice becomes your life, becomes so deep that it opens up a whole new channel of life to explore.
Right. Even the fisherman, most people maybe think going fishing is boring, but the master fisherman can detect patterns in the ocean. He can read different wind patterns. He can read the minds of the fish.
Yeah.
So he is tuning into a level of detail, a whole new world that most people aren't even aware of.
Yeah.
And that's fucking cool.
Very
like
cool.
A master fisherman is fucking cool because they see shit, they hear shit, they smell shit that no one else does.
Absolutely.
And so I think being a master of a craft in anything is pretty fucking cool.
I think it's so cool. It's so cool. Everything can go very deep.
Yes.
You just have to know how to explore it. You just have to engage with it, and when you engage with it more, you see doors open within that thing. You see more paths you can explore within that thing itself. Life is infinitely like fractal or some shit, right?
Sure.
So you can go so deep into a thing. I'm sure there's a craft to like making pens, you know, that goes
definitely
way deeper. The type of ink, the grade of it, maybe the way it writes on the page, the residue it leaves behind,
someone is a pen master.
Someone is a pen master.
I don't need to be a pen master. I just use the pen.
Yeah.
But some people are pen masters.
Some people are pen masters. Some people are masters at penmanship.
Right.
There's so many things you can really go so deep into.
Yeah. I mean, we're not telling people to, take a pillow and become a master of pillows. If you're not already, working with something like a pen, I'm just writing. I'm not telling people to, become the master of the pen, but I guess what we are saying is that take a look at the things that you're already doing in life and see where you can squeeze more juice out of it, where you can be a little more curious.
Yeah.
We're not telling you to change paths and try to figure out how every little thing works.
Yeah.
But if one thing does interest you, then go into it,
Yeah. Yeah.
Things are deeper than they seem.
Mm-hmm. And this reminded me of Japan because I know Japan has a very strong culture of craftsmanship, right? Even as we talk about fishermen, I know there's a traditional fisherman song. And a dance with it. So I'm probably butchering the thing, but I thought that was really cool. And that's another aspect to craftsmanship too. Similar to what I mentioned in the thing about Jamaica, you can build culture around it, song and dance around it. Probably some of these songs and dances have baked into them the way to do the thing. I know that this is the case for ancient Polynesian sea navigation, ocean navigation, right? They have stories and song and dance. And if you know the characters in these things are actually the stars, and it tells you the relationship with them and how to navigate, so you can build a deep body of cultural knowledge around a thing when you go really deep into a thing and make it a craft. Yes. Yeah. And if you have a community of people doing that too, it gets even stronger, more immersive, more important.
Yeah. And maybe you don't have a body of people around you going super deep in the craft, but maybe you're the trailblazer.
Yeah, be the pioneer.
You never know. Future generations, future kids might look up to you if you keep going on the path of deep engagement with your stuff that you do.
Yeah. Because think about it, like, no matter what the thing is, we all admire people who are really good at something.
It's true.
And that's because being really good at something, I believe it's because we recognize that as brave, we recognize it as fulfilling, and we recognize it as just a high level of knowledge and skill that makes someone valuable.
Right. Right. And it's, I guess the one thing I want to come back to is it's not just that they gave that thing 100% one time.
Right.
It's the repetition combined with the engagement, and that engagement repeated over time. And so when you're engaged in something, you enjoy doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And when you enjoy doing it, you do it again and again and again and again and again. And it's those two elements that I feel like create a master of something.
Yeah.
They repeatedly do it, and they are always open and curious about it and interested in it. And those things combined, and they do it and they love doing it. And then it's just over time, they simply become that person that people are like, holy shit, how'd you know that? Or how'd you do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the repetition, the consistency, engagement. And you may not enjoy it every single time you do it.
It's true.
Right. As we've talked about, you'll want to do this through different states, different emotional states: sadness, anger, worry.
You might fail a few times.
You will fail.
You will fail.
You should fail.
You should fail.
I'm going to say this again. The master has failed more times than the beginner has even tried. Think about it. The master has failed more times than the beginner has even tried. That's the way you become a master, a craftsman, right? You go down all the paths. You know the wrong paths. The master has the breadth of experience to know, the depth of experience to know the wrong paths to go down. Why? Because they went down the paths. They explored the whole landscape. And not the whole, probably, because the more they explore, the more there is to explore. But they've explored so much of the landscape that they know the wrong paths. And so that's the reason they can just keep going down the right path. So the failure is simply experience. It's simply knowing the wrong path. It's simply exploring the landscape. It's not a defeat.
Right. I feel like we can talk about this and it never loses its value.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's such a potent topic.
Right.
Because it's such a barrier for people.
Right.
For all of us.
Right. Because failing can be discouraging.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when we realize that failure is required, then we can accept it.
Mm-hmm.
And we can continue on our path.
Yeah.
With that new failure under our belt.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, think about someone who's a teacher, right? They're able to tell you what not to do. They're able to say, here, this is the right thing to do. But if they don't tell you, but watch out for this, or watch out for this, or you might think this, but actually it's this. If they're not able to tell you that, then they're not really setting you up to succeed. Or they're not really telling you the full landscape of the thing, right? A good teacher will tell you edge cases. although many of them you'll have experience for yourself. But the reason they know the edge cases is because they've experienced them.
Right.
If they haven't experienced them, you wouldn't trust them as much.
Right. Right.
If they just tell you, well, I heard that you shouldn't do this, you'd be like, but how do you know? Right? I would trust someone who knows. And so that's a master. Someone who knows.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the person you learn from doesn't necessarily need to be a master. Even if they're farther along the path than you can still learn.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, if we're on the topic of master, I mean.
Yeah. Although, like, I would argue that learning from a master is a whole different ballgame than learning from someone who's just farther along.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Of course.
Whole different ballgame.
I actually don't feel like I've met many masters. Often the masters I experience are through books or videos.
Right.
Yeah, I don't often masters are rare.
Masters are rare. Masters are pretty rare. Like, not everyone goes that deep into things. And when they do, I think they either become so valuable that they are less accessible, or they're just kind of low key about, like, they just do the thing.
Yeah,
and you might not even know they're a master.
Right.
You know?
Totally. Yeah. To know if someone's a master, you have to at least have an appreciation for the specific skill.
Right. And this is, again, the opportunity thing. You might say, oh, that person's lucky to have found a master, but maybe that person got so far along the craft that they are able to spot a master now.
Right. Recognizing a master takes a level of skill.
Exactly. If you don't have that pattern recognition yet, you may not know that person is a master.
It's true.
Right? So, again, opportunity meets preparation.
Yeah.
Not prepared for the master yet.
I mean, this goes back to I don't know if this is like an Indian saying, or it's like, when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Dude.
That totally
yeah.
is this.
Yeah, that's this. Huh. I've never thought about that. I've heard that, or variations of that phrase before. But now I think I finally understand it. on a deeper level, at least. Yeah. Because I guess, heard this when I was younger, it seems just mystical. It seems like, oh, the master appears when the student is ready.
Yeah.
But no, the student is able to see the master.
Right.
When the student is ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck. And this goes back to the waiting thing. Maybe people are waiting for a mentor.
Yeah.
That's not how the master appears. The teacher doesn't appear if you're waiting.
Right.
Because you can't see them.
Right.
One needs to practice, one needs to fail, one needs to succeed and fail and go into more depth to understand who even is the master.
Yeah.
So it's not just the master appearing, it's the student seeing.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes it. Yeah.
That's dope.
That's dope.
That's dope.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Mastery. I love the idea of mastery. Because I love the idea of exploration. You know this. And you can explore broadly, but you can also explore deeply. And I think, honestly, deeply seems way more fulfilling to me. Yeah.
Going deep requires more of you. I mean, going broad, of course, it's important to have broad knowledge of different things. Even breadth can be a form of depth.
Yeah. You know what it is too? Nothing exists in isolation. Things are interconnected. And so, even if you're going deep into something, you may end up with a breadth of knowledge because you start seeing how this is connected to other things, right? Just going back to the fisherman example, you start understanding oceanic patterns. You start understanding waves, the wind, the birds, seabirds, where they are, their patterns of, indicating where fish are. Understand different types of fish, right? You may understand water pressure in a different way. You may understand population patterns, people's habits of eating, or of you may understand different seasons of society, for example. You start to understand so many different things.
You might start seeing a lot more connections between things that you never before saw.
Yeah, exactly.
And you might be able to recognize, for example, if you're a craftsman of fishing or something, you might be able to recognize the different intelligence of the animals. And that can open your horizons.
Absolutely.
So much. So going deep into that craft, don't mistake it for just going deep into that single thing. You're going deep into life.
Yes. Yes. Depth is breadth.
Breadth can be depth.
Yeah. Yeah. I think when you go deep, it maybe at first it narrows and then it expands. Right? You're going maybe through a funnel and then you see, whoa, it actually opens up into way more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Craftsmanship. Yeah. Any other ideas? Or things to say?
I'm satisfied.
Cool. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Same.
Great.
Awesome.
Well, as you go about your day, life, death, eternity, here are some questions for you to ponder. I would like to invite people to take one activity today that they do on a regular basis or on some recurring basis and give that thing some more attention. Give it more love, more curiosity, and just see if it becomes a little more enjoyable. Go a little farther into the thing than you normally let yourself.
Yeah.
If you're doing something on a recurring basis, you spend time doing that thing. Time is life. So see if you can squeeze a little more juice out of that thing. Get a little bit more enjoyment, a little more engagement. See where it takes you. You might end up breaking into that level.
Yeah, honestly, I would say the same thing. Pick something. I like what you said, time is life. It is worth it to take something you do regularly and squeeze more juice out of it, squeeze more fulfillment. It is worth it because that's your life. I love that. So yeah, pick something, pay more attention to it. Figure out if there's a way you can do it slightly differently than either the way you've done it or the way most people do it. Add your own unique flavor to it.
I like that.
Yeah. So that's my prompt.
Right. Yeah. Actually, I think we didn't talk about that part, the adding your unique flavor to the thing.
True.
I do think that's an important part of this too.
It is.
Maybe we should ramble a bit on that, actually.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I do think adding your own flavor, your own personality into the thing you're doing is super important because that gives it more fulfillment, I think.
Yeah.
However, I do think to reach that level where you can add your own flair, your own flavor, you realize your own skills in this thing, you have to reach a certain level at the thing where you've learned the basics at least. And then you're able to apply that unique flavor of yours that is you. And I think that just magnifies the craftsmanship because you're not just a robot doing this thing. You're a human doing it in your own specific, beautiful way.
Yeah.
So that's when you can create beautiful objects.
Yeah.
If you're a craftsman, you can create something that has your soul in it.
Yeah.
I think when it gets to that level, it's like, that's pretty cool.
It is
when you
cool.
when you have your soul in this thing.
Yeah. And yeah, as soon as you have the basics of a thing, you can start doing that, you know? You don't have to wait until, again, don't wait. You don't have to wait until you're a certain level to do it.
Right.
You can pick a tiny piece of it and add your flair to that if you think that adding your flair to the whole thing will disrupt your learning of the actual skill or something like that. Meaning if, I can't think of a good example right now, but if you're writing, maybe add your own unique style to how you write, or just in some way that you think will be a bit more enjoyable. It's worth it because you'll enjoy it more. It will increase the challenge skills ratio, right? It will also set you apart.
True.
If this is something, let's say you're trying to be successful at, for example, that would be a good way to be set apart. I mean, this is where we diverge from AI, and
that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. And this is where you diverge from other people. It's going to be something that only exists with you.
Right.
From you.
Right. Yeah, where AI is just the amalgamation of all internet words into a thing. So if you talk to ChatGPT or he talks to it, it's the same. But when you talk to a person, you talk to a different person, it's completely different.
Yeah.
We'll see if AI replicates that at some point.
Yeah.
But for now, we still have that.
We still have that.
We
still have that.
And we will have that regardless. It's just whether AI also has that.
That might emerge. We'll see.
That'd be pretty interesting.
It would be.
And then it might not be so A. It just might be I.
Just might be I at that point. Yeah.
All right. Well, we gave her the takeaways already, so.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for listening. Honestly, if you're still here, you're the GOAT.
You're the GOAT.
The GOAT. So we really, really appreciate you for being here, spending this time with us. I hope this discussion was engaging and valuable. We are, I think, trying to become craftsmen of this speaking, podcasting craft.
Yes, we are.
And so we appreciate you being on this journey with us. And regardless of that, I do hope the things we talked about was valuable for you. So if it was, hit the like button so other people can find it too. Subscribe so you can see more. Hit the notification bell so you know when we post more. And comment. Comments, yes. We want to talk about these things in the comments. If you have a craft as well, we'd love to hear about it. If you are a craft person of pillows, that would be pretty.
Or pens.
Or pens. That'd be pretty interesting.
Or a fisherman.
If you're a Japanese fisherman,
hit us up.
Hit us up. We want to interview you. Or any fisherman, any craft. We'll interview you. It's fine. Cool, yeah. And yeah, share it with anyone you think might also find this valuable. Again, thank you so much for being here. Enjoy the rest of your time here on Earth. Or whatever planet you're on. Bye.